So we're really into the principles introduced to us by studying and understanding the 7 chakras and how they associate with our internal energies and our metaphysical beliefs, our manifestations. It's a good pathway of understanding the complexity of human existence and desire and actions. And to begin with our exploration, we want to highlight a very trendy Pinterest post on our page. You can go there, check it out, save it. But we want to look at each of the 7 chakras and kind of expand upon it with, I guess, a combined opinion, kind of like how it feels to me, Dusk 108, representative of this for riversoul.com, and what their listed associating factors are, and also just start a conversation with how much of this do we associate with, do we feel, do we resonate with. With that said, let's start with the root chakra. Instinct. I am. Deals with survival. Is blocked by fear. I think the idea of instinct and associating with your sense of identity, the beginning of the sense of identity, is very fundamental in consciousness and how we identify with being a sentient being, self-identifying with what we are. If we don't necessarily know ourselves, knowing that there is something to us. Going up, number 6, the sacral chakra. Emotions, I feel, deals with pleasure, is blocked by guilt. I think dealing with pleasure and being blocked by guilt are very balancing factors for something so driven by emotions. We would need to feel guilty for certain impulsive actions, giving us second thought. But at the same time, we don't necessarily want to be hindered by guilt. So I think it's a way of just identifying the value of feelings and pleasure and giving it value, giving it weight. 5, solar plexus, energy, I do, deals with willpower and is blocked by shame. Pleasure and willpower, having the willpower to seek pleasure, to interact with endeavors, to undergo challenges that are fulfilling, bringing action to what you desire or to what inspires you. And being blocked by shame, I guess shame would be that anchor that kind of like stops us in the middle of our path if we overthink our actions. Once again, it's a necessary balance. But do you think willpower and shame are 2 sides of the same coin? Going up from solar plexus, we have heart chakra, love. I love deals with, of course, love and is blocked by grief. That makes sense. I initially, when studying and reading about these associations, I thought love, and I think most people would instinctually think love is blocked by hate, and it is, but in the reference of internal energies, I think we're understanding the world without hate, right? Where there's only love, and then they are the balancing spectrums of love. And grief is a part of natural life more than hate, I would believe, which is why it's not the counterfactor for love. That's just my opinion. Like I said, studying this with like casually being thankful to have access to resources. Don't want to disagree or argue with age-old wisdom, but it is interesting. What do you believe? in the modern day, would it be blocked by hate more than grief? And what is the way to grief to people? Who they grieve over? If it's not personal loss, is the weight of material grief just as heavy? I mean, if it's blocking you, it's blocking, right? Going up from the heart chakra, we have the throat chakra. Truth, I speak, deals with truth and is blocked by, you would guess, lies. It all sounds pretty coherent. Truth is the material existence as one would perceive it. I think the ability to understand how the planets rotate, regardless of what we think, is a fundamental truth. But I think truth is also for those who can have it proven before their eyes in an acceptable fashion. Most people don't believe in the media, so no matter how much truth the media can illustrate, assuming any of it is true, some persons might need first-hand account. So truth seeking and speaking things into existence might be two different things in that type of frame of mind. Like I said, just freeballing a few creative, inspirational insights based on the studies I'm currently looking at and interpreting. We are going up to the third eye chakra. Intuition, I see, deals with insight and is blocked by illusions. Illusions and lies would correspond. It's interesting to think about how do we perceive truth? Why is there not more of a unified fundamental truth about a wider array of what we would deem acceptable things in society? And I think that will come down to perspective, because if you look at human nature and human existence in a human society, nature and society aren't necessarily reflective upon themselves. And part of the blockage for us to really have deeper insights and have intuition is the very no pun intended, but the very nature or lack thereof in society. So I think it's more of a hindrance for intuition just with the way society is built. But once again, my opinion, my interpretation. Let me know your thoughts on illusions blocking insight. Last but not least, at the top we have the crown chakra. Connection, I understand, deals with cosmic energy, is blocked by ego attachment. Now I think that's the most interesting one, and also kind of brings things full circle for me, because when I look at the chart or any chart that have these associations, you go from the root chakra to self-identity, the beginning of which, then you have the crown chakra to understanding. In between that, you have feeling, love, communication, you have experiences, then you have understanding at the very top. But what's most interesting that it circles back, because all these experiences can be external. They are external, and you extrapolate and you internalize it and you develop, supposedly, right? But it comes back to instinct, I am, because you start off conscious, but it's not the ending. It's not the goal. It really is the experience in all these other attributes. Where you have a deeper understanding, then you actually become who you are, or you at least have a deeper understanding of who you are. And that can only be blocked, well, not only with all the several blockages along the path, but it begins to be blocked by fear of I would say, understanding yourself. When you have certain feelings, if you have certain desires, certain passions in life that you do or don't understand, perhaps you should seek understanding of why you feel this way about your passions. Because those feelings, those passions, what drives you, is the beginning of who you are. I think in the modern setting, when you think about instinct and dealing with survival, in the modern setting, for most people, we have a luxury of opportunity for greater self-exploration and expression, right? Not everyone has these opportunities. That's a whole other conversation. But a lot of it begins with being conscious of yourself as a being empowered to feel, do, love, speak, and seek in order to understand your greater position amongst it. But I think that's the whole point of these philosophies. That's always been what it's tied back to. And it's just fun to really look at the seven main chakras that we all see in the media and extrapolate a little bit more nuance from it and appreciate how balanced it is and how much it really reflects the full spectrum, or begins to reflect the fuller spectrum of balanced human existence. I've been Dusk. I hope you've learned something with this experience, or have at least enjoyed reflecting on these vibrations with me. And feel free to explore all our other media content in association with chakras. Also, we dig into the science of metaphysics. We try to tie things together because, once again, it's all about harmony and symbiosis. Stay bright.